Hello. So, how's everyone feeling? Excited for Monster Hunter Wilds, which comes out in just over 4 hours by the time I'm making the intro? Are you excited for the next update of Path of Titans that we're all eagerly waiting for all these changes that have been talked about to come out? In which, before I actually start the video in, the topic that it was intended, let's go over something like one of the most interesting changes, and solo players, you are going to love this. So they ended up adding this new thing to the PTB. A new feature. Locations that have a large number of players are shown with a warning indicator on the map. This feature is intended to help players and solo players avoid large groups of players and know which areas are risky to avoid. We have set it to 5 on official servers for test due to having a lot number of players on PTB to test this. However, it's disabled by default. We need to make sure this feature works properly and tracks players in locations correctly when they join and leave. When they say a lot number of players, that's not a typo or anything like that. It's just like a limited amount of players, right? But yeah, what this means is that you'll be able to know which areas on the map are currently being occupied by a high amount of people. Areas that are currently at high traffic. This will also give the devs a lot of information of proper traffic in each area. Instead of them having to look at logs here and there, they can actually just use this location tracker for everybody. And then they can actually make adjustments to the map as and when needed to actually push people to move around the map a little bit, maybe. Obviously, we already know, just get rid of the water replenish quest in Crater, and things will be a lot better by default, but hey. But here is how I see it being actually extremely helpful right here. Now, let's just say there is a large group of people over in Crater, and then a large group of people over in Green Valley, and they're just different groups. They're holding their zone, they like their zone, but maybe they're getting bored of just holding the zone, and maybe they want to have a group fight, right? And so from reading this, I can see it working like this, right? You look at your map, and then you can see, like an actual little warning symbol, say on top of Crater or Grand Plains. But then you may also see a warning symbol over in Green Valley. But the problem they both have is that if they try to, travel the map right now, they don't know where other people are. So they could travel the map for half an hour and find no one. Well, with this, now they'll know that there is, a lot of people in Crater. Well, there's always a lot of people in Crater, but then the people in Crater will also know, oh, there's a lot of people in Green Valley. Just from this one thing alone, they would both have information that there is a group in either hotspot, in which that gives them the opportunity then to possibly try and hunt each other down, because they have knowledge they could have an interesting group battle. They could have their very own war with a bunch of people, right? Sounds fun to me. I would love that, personally. So then they would have the opportunity to start moving around the map in search of, that little warning icon, in the hopes that, hey, we're gonna get them. We're gonna go after them. Hell, they could, you could have the Green Valley group move from, Green Valley into Dried Lake into Green Hills, and then have, say, the Crater group move from Crater into Grand Plains into Birchwoods into Green Hills, and then they have like a little war there, right? But we do need to remember that obviously this wouldn't be the main focus of this. This would be more to help people who are solo or maybe in a duo just avoid areas where, just knowledge to know where there are a lot of people if maybe they don't want to get mobbed by, 10 plus people at a time. Or maybe they're into that and maybe they just want to go and attack 10 people at a time. I'm looking at you, Morcrom. But yeah, that's kind of enough of my rambling right here. These were just thoughts that were in my head because I thought this was insanely interesting to actually think about. Just as interesting as, the upcoming ramp buff, of course. But anyway, what I have for today's video is a funny little fight on Struthy against a bunch of hats and some Picnos and Megs and blah blah blah. And then some funny little clips that happened on, say, Sarco, some Ramp clips, etc. But, with all that out of the way, I hope you all enjoy. P.S. This one Tyranno Titan really could have used that warning indicator. So for this one, how about a little bit of Struthy? Here we have 3 Struthys and 1 Latin of Venatrix. We started off with fighting a small group over in Grand Plains, mainly consisting of Picnos, some Metries, and some Megalanias. And not really much happened other than just annoying them for the most part. Tee. They bit each other. They did have some hats in the area, and I noticed that they're using pretty much stuff that I would usually only ever see in a YouTube video.
The hats is running YouTuber build.
Now, anytime that I see, you know, Peck Barrage and Stab, I always call it YouTube build for hats, just because we have all probably seen the videos of, you know, people recommending you use this to fight Apexes, but the thing is, it leaves you open not being able to fight anything else, just because you are so full of openings and easily abusable. Meaning that all anybody has to do is avoid you for 20 seconds, and then you are kind of reset to no damage and have to take off and get away. And in this case, the hats ended up leaving this Picno all alone, and so 3 Struthys just taking it in turns, just dealing whatever damage they could to it. We did get very close to killing it, but they ran off and ended up actually reaching one of the Metries in their group, which, well, we didn't have any bleed at the time, so kind of reset most of our progress.
Oh, Strider!
And so, well, looking at my health, I got a heal. Thankfully, I am a Struthy, so all I gotta do is fill up my food and water, and that is very, very quickly, because health recovery hide. But while me and Strider were healing, a random Campto and an Alio ended up showing up to start attacking the Picnos, while Cherry was also still, you know, just focusing on trying to do whatever damage they could. They were using basic kick on Struthy, so it was a lot safer for them. The Picnos ended up doing what most players do in this game, and that was put their back towards some water. And that is where we ended up encountering the true fun of what happened while playing on Struthy here. The multiple Hatzegopteryx that were in the area. But I found it strange that the Megalanias disappeared as the Hatzegopteryxes came in. So while playing, I kind of just assumed that the Megs ended up switching to hats, as, well, it's official servers, and that's usually just what you see very commonly. Who is this hats here? Though it seemed that the hats were less focused on us as Struthys, and more focused on the Alio that ended up going after the Picno and finished it off by the water. Well, that is probably because it's easier to grab an Alio than a Struthy. Ow, that's half my health in one hit. But this is where Frozen ended up coming in on Latin, and did a little bit of damage by pouncing one of the hats and taking some attention off of us. And this was where we were really able to see that they were actually running grab. So we had to be extra careful to make sure that, well, if we get grabbed, we're probably going to die.
If anyone gets grabbed, we gotta try and, like, body block. Body block. Yeah, there we go. Nice. Dead by daylight. Oh god, there's more hats. there's more hats coming in.
So yeah, there's more hats coming in, so that means that there's more things that could potentially grab us, and just more things to dodge. And I end up mentioning that this is really just a bunch of onslaughts against a bunch of hats.
It's just a bunch of hats versus a bunch of Struthys and a Latin. Come on, mate.
Well, that was until Frozen ended up calling out that they also had a Latin come
They
in.
have a Latin now as well?
And so we searched around for it, seeing as it's the one thing that wouldn't be able to just take off and fly away. Though it was a full bleed Latin, it seemed, and, well, I'm a kick barrage Struthy, which isn't very well suited to dealing with something that mobile.
Problem is, they got the basic pack, so it's like really dangerous. Yeah. Yeah.
But here was a part that actually worried us a little bit, seeing as the Alio ended up coming back, but so did the Campto. But the truly worrying part was they ended up actually landing a grab on the Alio, and they actually managed to, lift off with them, meaning that there was a good chance that they would perish. And of course, when one thing has been grabbed and dropped, obviously that's going to be the most hurt thing in the area, so all of the hats at the same time were just focused on this one Alio. I said all, but not really all, just a bunch of them, and so we ended up just started attacking one hat that was kind of left alone, which ended up signaling the rest of the hats to come back before they could actually finish off the Alio, and thankfully they were able to actually get away and escape. And because they ended up taking so much collision damage from all trying to take off in the same spot at the same time, just to go after the Alio, Strider and Cherry were able to finish off one of their hats.
Oh, you got one? Nice.
I know some of you will say that, hey, killing a ramp is blasphemous, but the ramp was actually trying to help them by just being in our way and just trying to distract us.
Need a little bit of stamina, because half stamina is not enough stamina. Well, it is, but it isn't.
And this was where Frozen ended up saying that the Latin is back.
Alright, I'm coming.
Now, I can't really do much against a full bleed Latin, just because it's so mobile and it's based on pure hit and run, so I decided to focus back on the hats again. Well, I would say that. That was until it just dropped right in front of me. I'll do what I can to it, but hey, it's mainly Frozen who's gonna keep it occupied to make sure that it can't interfere with the Struthys. Another worrying part, though, for us, is that they've started using that call that ends up slowing down anybody that they can grab. Well, you can obviously tell why that would be quite concerning for us. So I ended up getting some stamina, and the Alio and Campto are now back in the fight to fight these hats. And that was when the hats ended up doing something a little strange. At least to the Latin that we were fighting against. Which was pretty much just to use it as a meat shield against us, which I guess maybe they thought it was our Latin, but no. But yeah, trying to use Kick Barrage on Struthy against, any hats with just the basic peck is very difficult, just because of the case that it turns so fast, they end up gaining, a bunch of stamina whenever they actually hit a peck, and, just trying to actually find an opening, but I'm still just trying to keep up my kick barrage stacks at, the whole time right now.
My feathery hide! My poor feathery hide.
And now here was one of the parts I found funniest here. I start to run away, they gave chase and start to fly.
He got. He started to fly. He started to fly, and he flew right into me, and he collided with me. Yeah, and he died.
Yep. It's the same thing that I do on Ramp, really. As soon as a hat starts to fly and try and take damage, I try to collide with them. Because they just turn into a pancake at that moment. And after that, I ended up grabbing the trophy right afterwards, and, well, I guess their friend saw that I grabbed the trophy right away, and they really, really wanted revenge.
Come on, keep jumping. Oh, look at all that stamina you've used, buddy. Yeah, mate, you keep jumping. Why do you keep jumping?
And so I just tried to make distance. And I kind of just dumped the trophy because we don't really care about it.
All
I ended up
captives.
coming back to it as, well, it's alone now, so why not just attack it? We got still multiple Struthys ready to just take turns with dealing with it. But that was where it kind of just had enough and just decided to take off and fly away. But as some of the hats end up leaving, some of them end up coming back. But for some weird timing here, when they end up coming back, so did the Alio, in which they went straight after the Alio, as they seem to have had a much easier time actually landing grabs just like that on them. Though it seems that they did not have enough stamina to actually pull off, getting the full grab and dropping them, since they used so much in chasing them.
Ah, yes, this is the answer to hats. Struthys.
So the full Bleed Latin ended up coming back, and the only real good solution we had to dealing with it was kind of just buffing up Cherry, since they were using the basic kick on Struthy just to get an assured hit on it, or at least more consistent than what anything with Kick Barrage could do.
I respect the ramp.
Seeing as the Latin ended up running straight back to the Hasses, we ended up just starting to try and make our way somewhere else, in which they did follow back.
I just jump into them when they fly.
But now we're at the point where they are really concentrated on trying to actually land those grabs on us now. As, well, obviously, as soon as they land one grab on any of us, that is pretty much an assured kill for the most part. And trying to actually hit a Hats with Kick Barrage is very strange just because of how their body hitboxes, you can collide with them, but not actually hit them with the attack, if that makes sense. And, well, if you collide with them, there is a very good chance that you just get stuck on them, which leaves you open to get grabbed a lot easier. And with all that in mind, trying to keep your Kick Barrage stacked up while also avoiding grabs, it's a little difficult. Your only real good bet in keeping your Kick Barrage stacked up at this point right now, especially with how obsessed they are with hitting grabs, is to try and switch targets, to people who are not concentrating on you and looking at other Struthys.
Tee. Oh, that's a dead ramp. Okay. Hate to see it. Oh, that was unfortunate for you.
I gotta be honest, they deserved that hit right there. But they also deserved missing this grab. They've pretty much completely ignored any chance to get, proper pecs when they've just wanted to try and assure a kill with grab. But, yeah. Obviously, hitting a grab on a Struthy, it's gonna be a lot harder than hitting just a normal peck and forcing it to either run away and get out of the fight, or just dodge and hit another friend.
They keep trying the clamp. I mean, they're gonna land it once, eventually. And they know it.
As I said, they keep trying to hit the clamp, and they've kind of learned that it's next to impossible unless they see us get stuck on anything. So they're kind of just spamming peck as they know that's going to be the most consistent thing they have to use. That was when Frozen ends up pouncing it, and I haven't really got to be worried about getting clamped while, the Hats is pounced at the moment.
Bleed.
Because even if I do get clamped while it's pounced, well, it can't take off, it can't really do anything with that. But yeah, I've kind of had enough of fighting them at this point, and so I walk away, seeing as they can just take off and fly whenever they want. So I just go to get food.
Oh, mate, that was fun as fuck.
Okay, for this one, it's gonna be a very short one, because, well, it's a Sarco and Wilderness Pond, there's not really much you can do with that, right? Every so often, I like to just hop on Sarco that's in here, and if something comes to drink some water, I'll usually grab it if I can, and kill it, eat it, and log out, before they end up calling some friends on a semi-aquatic to come and get me out of here and kill me. And this is something I do when I'm just feeling like I want to chill, and I'll literally wait in here for like half an hour if need be. I'm that patient a lot of the time. But here, it was, a Pycno and its child, and so I just grabbed the child, I killed that, but then the adult ended up coming in, and this was the biggest mistake they could have made. So it was a very close call for them to actually get away, but thankfully I was able to actually finish it off. I grabbed its trophy, and there was a stego in the area, just a baby stego, and, I have a bias towards stegos, especially when compared to Pycnos, so it can have the trophy and move along while I eat. But now that I've eaten, I just start logging out before they end up calling me out, and then someone ends up coming up to the pond and killing me. Though that was at least until I ended up hearing something else coming to the pond. And it seems to be a Struthy, and, well, they're doing some questing here and there. I'm just kind of waiting to see if they actually try to have a drink or not. They end up spotting the Pycno body. I almost end up revealing myself and my tail poking out of the water. They end up going to check it to see if there's a trophy there. Unlucky, mate. Now, see, if I had seen a corpse right next to the pond where it was, I would I wouldn't go anywhere near this pond. I would just go to Triad, honestly, to drink. But then again, they probably didn't come here to drink. They probably just came here, just to quest, and ended up seeing the body and thought, ooh, maybe there's a trophy there. Nope. Well, that's some baby dino stew for Dennis later. Oh well. Next. Another relatively short one, but this one I found absolutely hilarious. So, crater as usual. Chock-a-block full of people. The stego over on the north end ends up getting attacked by a bunch of Tyrannotitans. They eventually end up killing it, but hey, that's not what we're going to be concentrating on here. And so, right here, in the crater, we have pretty much a fresh juvie aloe being attacked by a Dinomosuchus. It seems that they're using hatchet bite, which I thought, that's a bit different. Obviously, it's a Dinomosuchus, and it's a baby aloe, so obviously the Dinomosuchus wins that, right? A Deinonychus, helps out to kill the Dinomosuchus very quickly, saving the baby aloe's life. It's awfully appreciative, but hey, look, there's Dennis. Prepared to teach this baby aloe that everything in Crater is out to get them. There is no safety net in Crater for you from anybody. Only your friends, and that's if they're feeling charitable most of the time. Even something like a Ramph, if you were a baby, well, it's gonna cause you problems. And I kinda got lucky here, of course, that, hey, Dinomosuchus does a bunch of bleed, and this baby aloe practically just face tanked it. I'm guessing, you know, they were most likely a new player. And, well, gotta learn the hard way. That's all I can say. Funnily enough, this is a clip I used for the Dennis music video. And, well, it was just perfect. You know what I always say, Ramfo P. Now for this one, as you can see, there is pretty much a mob boss Raptor pack right here. And they seem very, very relaxed. There's a couple of Spinos in the water, you know, they're doing their thing. That is until they end up coming onto land. Now, you know exactly what is going to happen. You know exactly what is going to happen. I just don't understand why they didn't expect that to happen. Why would you not expect it? I would do it every single time if I was that Spino. Though, I'd say the funniest thing to me, though, out of that, outside of just seeing that in the first place, was when I said it was funny, and the reaction I got in chat, it was like, no, that was not funny. And it shows what kind of person you are. It's like, yeah, it does. And so here we are at the end. So I ended up making this video in preparation because, hey, Monster Hunter Wilds is gonna be coming out in just like a couple hours for me, right? And of course, that is something I'm gonna be very interested in over the next couple of days especially. And also something I actually want to make videos for. But, don't worry, the Path videos aren't going anywhere. It's just that, hey, while we're waiting for some new content in Path of Titans, I can also have something else to play on the side. You know, just to keep me engaged, should I say. Because especially with all the changes on the PTB that are going to be coming soon in the future on Path, well, as I said, the Path videos aren't going anywhere. It's just that, you know, we're kind of waiting. We're in a little bit of a content drought right now, but apparently there is a lot to look forward to. But, with all that out of the way, I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you all have a lovely day. Bye!